You were in Vegas over Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
Your visit did not get as much hype as Johnny Football's. Are you surprised by that?
A little bit, I am. I don't know, I don't know why this guy is getting so much attention, but I was a little salty about that.
You feel salty. You want maybe a few more cameras, but you joke, right? You would not
Yeah,
want that kind of attention.
No. I like flying under the radar.
Is that something that you have to make a conscious decision to do, or do you feel like at some point you get into the league, people know who you are, you've proven yourself, and so you can live your life the way you want to?
Yeah, he's a young guy, and he has to go through the same transition. Let him live his life, and people that's the way it is. Especially when you're a high-profile player, having a lot of attention coming into the league, they're gonna want to photobomb, and take pictures and make the situation bigger than what it was. So,
did you feel like you had some of that when you first came in the league?
A little bit. It wasn't more so the negative attention, like he's getting, but definitely being out there, people posting pictures and this, that, and another.
I can imagine that'd be
Yeah.
tough to deal with, especially when you're trying to come in, just be a team guy, be under the radar type of guy. But I want to ask you about a news story that came out today. Peter King reporting that now human resources, HR from the NFL is going to be going around to each of the different teams to kind of hold a meeting, not so much a symposium, but to talk with players about locker room etiquette and how to be in the locker room, obviously in the wake of what happened with the Miami Dolphins last year. Are you going to be at one of these things?
If it's mandatory.
Have you heard about this at all?
I haven't heard about it, but if it's mandatory, I'm sure we have to be there. But the locker room, it won't change. It won't change at all. You got so many different personalities in the locker room, and supposedly it's supposed to be a family. Everything stays inside the locker, and no one could imagine the stuff that goes on and that's said in that locker room. So that Miami situation, I don't even know how that even got to the surface, but I don't think it'll really serve that much justice.
Will it work? If you meet with a team for an hour to talk about locker room etiquette and guidelines, do you think it will resonate with the players?
I'm sure some guys will listen, but to be honest, I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so.
Guys are just gonna be how they want to be, act how they want to act.
The locker room has been the same for so long, and it's not just in the NFL. You're talking about from high school to little league, from little league to high school to college. It's a meeting. Our meeting's not going to change that.
But going back to that Miami situation, when Jonathan Martin walks out of the locker room, did that surprise you that he got to a breaking point there and then left?
A little bit. In the locker room, you got a lot of alpha males in there, and you got to be able to stand your ground and, when you need to. So by him walking out, I don't really know a situation like that, but just me personally, that's not the decision I would have made.
We're about 7 weeks away from training camp, but I don't think this story can be told enough. You had a close call in 2012 when you found out you had a severe food allergy. I think you should tell this story again so that people can understand what the risks are.
Yeah, 2 years ago at training camp, I had a reaction to anaphylaxis, allergic reaction, life-threatening allergic reaction called anaphylaxis, and I had like 2 bowls of gumbo, and taking I was 27 at the time, and that's all I've eaten was seafood. Well, my favorite food was seafood. So I had 2 bowls. I go back to my room to relax and get ready for the afternoon practice, and I started experiencing, my eyes started to itch, my throat's itching. I really didn't expect much of it, and I felt my throat start to close and my nose started to close. So I just, I sit up, look in the mirror, and my mouth is swole. It wasn't just like Eddie Murphy's on, lump, but my lips were swollen or whatnot. And so I got on the phone, called my athletic trainer. I was like, hey, told him the symptoms. He obviously knew what it was because he came up a few minutes later with the EpiPen, the 2 EpiPen auto injectors. I administered it into my right thigh, and my throat started to open up, and I was able to seek further assistance. So that's the story and how I got introduced to Mylan Specialty, and I've been working with them for the past year. And this year, our campaign, our motto is ready to go. being ready to go. And what it boils down to is, number one, being prepared. You know, knowing your allergic triggers, you know, making sure you avoid your allergic triggers, making sure that you recognize the symptoms and the signs, and always carrying 2 EpiPens with you at all times. And secondly, being prepared and ready to respond. You know, being able to administer the EpiPen, auto-injector, and then seeking further assistance in case it occurs. And you know, it's been fun for me. I'm actually doing a nationwide draft, and what this is doing is giving kids the opportunity around the world who has severe allergies like me to reach out and show how dedicated they are when it comes to being prepared. And so for all the parents out there, if your kid if he knows the importance of being ready to go, you know, avoiding their allergic triggers, and knowing how to respond, we're urging them to visit readytogo.com, submit a short video describing, you know, a tip that helps them be ready and prepared. And at the end of the draft, July 15th, we'll be selecting 3 kids to join me in my own specialty and doing an educational video. Again, it ends July 15th, so make sure everyone gets in today.
Get on out there and listen.
It's
if
be
your
fun.
idol, the big bad Adrian Peterson, you know, if he's dealing with this issue head on, you kids out there and all their parents have to do the same thing. I think you're doing great work.
Exactly. And then as well, you know, they can visit, you know, readytogo.com and find out a lot of different information too. You know, to find out if this product is good for your child. You know, the health and safety. Just general information when it comes to misperceptions and just being knowledgeable when it comes to anaphylaxis.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you spread this message because you've had to deal with this very serious incident, and there have been other serious things in your life that you've dealt with. You're not a stranger to loss, a half-brother, your son, your father was in prison. You've been very open and honest about these things. How do you deal with them?
Pray. You know, I definitely stay prayed up, but you know, with every situation, you always have some type of action plan. You have to. You know, you have an action plan, then, you know, of course, first thing first, stay prayed up, but have something in the order that's going to, you know, keep you on a straight and narrow and get you back to where you need to be, no matter what the situation is.
Yeah, have you found that because you are a public person, that going through some of these tragedies publicly, does it help you heal?
In a sense it do. You know, I'm the type of person, you know, I'm going to live my life. You know, and I know I have one person to be accountable to, you know, when it's all said and done, and I realize that for what it is. So it's a lot of situations that I've been through, you know, whether good or bad, kind of focusing more on the bad, that I don't really, you know, let faze me, you know, because I know, you know, the man above, he sees the heart, and you know, I know I have a good one.
Let's talk about Minnesota, shall we?
Yeah.
2018, they'll be hosting the Super Bowl. You think you'll be a Viking by the time that Super Bowl rolls around?
I plan on it, but you know, it is a National Football League, and you know, I've seen some surprising things happen, but I would love to retire as Viking.
Have you ever thought, I mean, you are clearly the face of the Vikings. You would also be their biggest bargaining chip. Do you ever think about what your value would be like on the market?
I have thought about that, honestly. You know,
what would it be?
I think it would be pretty good. You know, and not saying just because it's me, but I think it would be pretty good. You know, if you're trying to rebuild the team and you know, get rid of a good piece, and you know, be able to bring in some key players in different positions to help your team out. But you know, you got to weigh your options. Do you want to make that sacrifice? You know, are you going to lose, you know, a lot of support because of that decision, or you know, so it's a lot to weigh. Yeah.
Do you think the fans would be upset if the team ever traded you?
Just hearing some of the whispers that, you know, people say, and, you know, they get out there and looking at my Twitter account, Facebook account, any type of social media, yeah, they would definitely be upset about that.
I think they'd be shocked too, probably, right? I mean, people will say that the running back has been devalued. I know that you don't agree with that, but what has to happen, do you think, to make the running back a focal point of the offense again?
I feel like, you know, we're kind of going through that phase where, you know, the spread offense and, you know, the 4 receiver looks is kind of got teams are transitioning into that. But then again, you got smart defensive coaches that eventually they'll come up with something that's going to slow that down. And then, that'll open up the run game a little more. But when you have guys like, Marshawn Lynch, Sean McCoy, those guys would never just, be out of the game. Those guys are going to get their carries. So it's going to be real important for the young guys, the young generation, to continue to work hard, continue to, look at the running back position as what it is, a prime position, and really working to be effective. It's not too many great backs that come out. But if you keep showing them the way and how it's done, then hopefully we'll produce some more.
Yeah, you brought up LaShawn McCoy. He brought your name up not too long ago when he was asked who's the best running back in the league. He said in the last 3 years he believes that he is the best running back in the league. You kind of laughed that off because I don't think I've ever heard you talk trash in your entire career. I don't know if you have. If so, I haven't heard it. Besides yourself, who are your top 3 running backs in the league right now?
Besides myself, in no order, I got to say, Marshawn Lynch.
Beast mode.
Yeah, beast mode. Definitely got to give him a thumbs up. LaShawn McCoy.
Okay.
Been able to watch him in person, and he's actually pretty spectacular. Got a quick, side step. Gotta give a young guy some props. Aaron Foster is a guy I like, and Jamal Charles, definitely.
Jamal Charles. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that we're going to see another 350-plus carries out of a running back? The last time it happened was 2 years ago with Adrian Foster, who was on your list of top running backs. Do you think we're going to see more of that or less?
I don't think you'll see it that often, but you get a back out there that's been productive in the run game, then you can see it. It's what it is. You're not going to find teams that has that quarterback to be able to, facilitate the ball to the receivers like they would want to. You're going to have some teams that run first. So I can see it happening.
I asked you for your top running backs currently. What about all time? Who are your favorite running backs throughout history?
Yeah, definitely Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton. Being a Cowboys fan, I got to throw Emmitt Smith in there as well. But there was a lot of great backs that I love watching growing up. Like the Marshall Faulks, Terrell Davis, Eddie George. I really liked Eddie George because he was a taller back, and I always got that, oh, you're too tall to play running back, this and another. He is 6'4", 260-something pounds playing running back. So he inspired me a lot growing up as well.
Looking forward at this Viking season, you guys draft Teddy Bridgewater. Mm-hmm. The last time you and I spoke was before the draft. I asked if you thought they'd draft a quarterback. You said you weren't sure. Trade back into the first round and get Teddy. Do you believe he will be competing for the starting role? You've seen a little bit of him now, or does Matt Castle have this thing going away?
Right now, Matt Castle has it locked, but they moved up to the first round. They pick him for a reason, and it's funny because before his draft day, he was projected as the first player to come off the draft board, and it's just kind of funny how one bad day can do you. So I felt like it was a good pick. I feel like he's going to have the opportunity to slide in. The coach we have now, Zimmer, what I love about him, I don't care if you're a rookie, if you're the best player, you're going to play. So it's not going to be, oh well, Matt Castle or Christian Ponder was here. The best player's going to play.
And that's probably a good thing for Bridgewater. What about Norv Turner, your new offensive coordinator? Does he have that same approach?
Yeah, he does. He does. These guys are very low key. They actually kind of rejuvenated me because I was down after last year. The season ended and the coach getting fired, but got more energy when we brought those guys in. But Zimmerman, Turner, what he's bringing, he's been in the league for 30 years, so I've been able to watch his offense and what he's able to do. And we have a lot of great athletes on our offense, and I feel like he's going to be able to put us in a position to be productive. Yeah. So I might not get 350 carries, but this year you might see me with 700 or 1,000 yards, receiving, and whatever it takes to win a Super Bowl. Like I told him, I'm all in for it.
Hit me. Hey there, SI fans. I hope you enjoyed this clip from our daily live show, SI Now. You can find a link to the complete episode in the description box below. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe to Sports Illustrated's YouTube channel. Remember, you can watch SI Now Monday through Friday live at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, only on SI.com. All right, go along. You ready? Hope to see you there.